In this episode, I'll be talking about education. Education and how important it is. Man, I don't even know where to begin. I have seen things in this world that astound me at times. Just blow me away. I've seen people speak of things and they have no idea what they're talking about because they are not educated. Now, at one time, this would be understandable. Many, many years ago, decades ago, the internet didn't exist. Knowledge at your fingertips did not exist. There were libraries, there were schools. Not everybody had the option to go to school. Like when my father was young, not everybody graduated from high school. That was something that was highly prized, to have a high school diploma. And to go to college, well, only the wealthy went to college. So yes, at one time, to be educated was a little more difficult. But now, in this world, there is no excuse for ignorance. Absolutely none. Almost everybody in this nation has a smartphone. Most people have a computer and a smartphone. Some people have a television, a computer, a smartphone, books, access to libraries, schools. And yet there are people out there who think the world is flat. I don't even know how to describe how crazy that is. And at one time in our history we thought the world was flat, yes. And then brave explorers sailed to the edge of the world and they didn't fall off. Guess what? The world's not flat. They thought the Earth was the center of the universe. Didn't believe in the solar system, or didn't have an understanding of planets. Well, you know what? Actually some cultures did. Like the Sumerians. They knew. But of course, they found out in other ways. Someone gave them that knowledge. But anyway, not to go in that direction. But there are people who think the world is flat, and that is asinine. Now, I will say that the flat earthers, they're onto something, though, and that is that our world is not exactly as it seems. There are things about Earth that many aren't aware of. But I can assure you, it isn't flat. And because of science, because of technology, because of understanding, and education, we know this. We now know that the Earth revolves around an axis. The Earth orbits a star, the Sun. It is not the center of the galaxy or the universe. Actually, that we're in a galaxy. This is the point, because we know so much now. And we have knowledge at our fingertips. So to be uneducated is a choice in this world. We teach our children, well, I know when I was in school, I was not necessarily taught to think critically. I don't know if that's still the case for elementary school students, high school students. I was told that learning to critically think, critical thinking, is something that you learn when you go to college. That's crap. If that is still the case, and I haven't been in high school in a long time, and I observe children in school now, so I'm not quite sure if children are being taught to think critically or they are still being taught things like rote memorization and whatnot. But it is important to teach your children to think for themselves, to think critically, to question. Because when you don't question, you wind up thinking the earth is flat. You wind up believing crap and nonsense. And there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot on the internet. There are things on the internet that are not true. That is a given. There is a lot on the internet that is true, and that is a certainty. And you can learn anything you want out there now. Knowledge is at your fingertips. It is vital that you educate yourselves. If you have a question about something, don't just make it up or imagine the answer. Go look. Google it. Or Yahoo it. Or whatever you want to do. Read a book. It's not hard anymore. You know, at one time, like when I was young, you had to get out the encyclopedia and look something up. And maybe it wasn't there. Then you had to go to the library. I'm sure many of you remember this before the internet. Now you can find and have anything. So it is important to educate yourselves. When someone tells you something, don't just believe them, but look for yourselves. You can do this. But because of sheer laziness, a lack of effort or will or dedication or whatever, you know, so many people will just believe nonsense. They'll believe crap. They'll believe conspiracy theories, like the earth's flat. Come on, people. I don't know what to say about this sort of thing, except that, you know, I run a group online, a research group, and I'm one, or my group, our group, is one of many. But our focus is using scientific principle, reasoning, understanding, to validate what we research. And there are others that just are nonsense. And they tend to give the subject, the field of study that we're in, a bad name. And that's okay. You know why? Because that's the world we live in. And that is why it is vital that people educate themselves. And I make it my mission to help others find the truths in this life, so that they're not confused, confounded, and believing a lie. But there are those out there, and don't you kid yourselves, that want you to believe crap. They want you to believe conspiracy theories. They don't want you to think for yourselves. They don't want you to question. Just believe us. Take our word for it. While we do what we're going to do. That is not a conspiracy theory. So again, you know, I want to emphasize how important it is to educate yourselves, to think for yourselves, to think critically, use a discerning mind, perform analysis, and think logically. I mean, think logically about things. And begin your quest for the truth. There's a lot out there, so much to find and so much to discover, so much to explore, I promise you. And once you start, you may never be able to turn back. 8:13. Take care. Until the next time.
If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken. Perhaps they're better left unsung. I don't know. Don't really care. Let there be songs to fill the air. Ripple in still water when there is no pebble tossed, nor wind to blow. Reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again, let it be known. There is a fountain